how does your body burn massive amounts of energy while you are literally doing nothing? I mean, even when you're fast asleep, your cells are furiously working. Or think about a hummingbird for a second. Its flight muscles are so demanding they need constant, immediate fuel just to stay airborne. So how does life actually pull this off?
Well, by the end of this explainer, you're going to understand exactly how your cells harvest energy, the two opposing pathways that make up your metabolism, and the ultimate molecular currency that literally keeps you alive.
Scientists call this incredible flow of energy through living systems bioenergetics. And it's a flow because virtually every single task performed by living organisms requires a steady, continuous supply of energy. Whether you're doing heavy physical labor, simply thinking through a complex problem, or, again, just taking a nap, your living cells are constantly importing nutrients, moving things around, and distributing materials. Every single one of these tasks requires power.
To really understand bioenergetics, we need to zoom in and look at what's happening at the molecular level. And that brings us to metabolism. Now, you hear people talk about having a fast or slow metabolism all the time, right? But scientifically speaking, metabolism is all of the chemical reactions that transpire inside cells, including those that use and release energy. It's essentially this bustling, non-stop chemical factory inside every single cell of your body.
Let's make this a bit easier to visualize with an example. Think of cellular metabolism like a massive construction site. At a construction site, you need heavy machinery and a lot of energy to build a brand new skyscraper. But on that exact same site, energy and machinery are also required to swing a wrecking ball and demolish an old building. Well, your cells operate the exact same way. Energy is required to build or synthesize large molecules like the proteins in your muscles, and energy is also required to break down complex carbohydrates into simple sugars. But these building and demolishing jobs, they don't just happen randomly. They happen through what we call a metabolic pathway. Notice how this is a very deliberate step-by-step process. We start with a substrate molecule, and then, through a series of interconnected biochemical reactions, it passes through different metabolic intermediates, eventually yielding a final product. It's like a highly organized assembly line.
So here's what's really fascinating. Metabolism actually splits into two opposing but totally essential forces: anabolic and catabolic pathways. Anabolic pathways are your builders. They synthesize complex molecules from simpler ones, which, of course, requires an input of energy. Catabolic pathways are the demolishers. They break down or degrade complex molecules into simpler ones, and that process actually releases energy. Building and degrading, anabolic and catabolic. Together, these two forces make up the entirety of your metabolism. Let's look at anabolism in action with a super simple example. Think about eating breakfast in the morning. By eating, you're essentially storing energy for your body to use later in the day. Plants do something very similar, but on a massive scale, through photosynthesis. They capture light energy from the sun and use it to build, or synthesize, sugar molecules like glucose. Because they are building a larger, energy-storing molecule, it's an anabolic process. It requires an input of energy. Just look at the striking symmetry between these two formulas. It's kind of beautiful, actually. The top one is the breakdown of glucose. That's a catabolic pathway. The bottom one is the synthesis of glucose, an anabolic pathway. The process of building sugar using carbon dioxide, water, and energy is the exact, literal reverse of breaking it down. Plants build the sugar, and then organisms, like humans or squirrels or whatever, consume and break down that sugar to harvest the energy. But wait, this is absolutely crucial. How much energy does building that sugar actually cost the plant? The number is staggering: 54. It takes a total of 54 ATP equivalent molecules just to synthesize one single molecule of glucose during photosynthesis. That is a massive energetic investment for the plant cell. So, I just mentioned ATP, and that brings us to arguably the most important molecule in bioenergetics, ATP, or adenosine triphosphate. This is the primary energy currency of all cells. When solar energy is harvested by a plant, or when sugar is broken down in your body, that energy is temporarily stored in these highly reactive ATP molecules, so it can be used to perform immediate work.
Let's connect this to everyday life. Think of ATP exactly like a dollar bill in your wallet. If you want to buy something at a store right now, you hand over a dollar bill. You don't hand the cashier a gold bar or the deed to your house. You use accessible, immediate currency. Your cells do the exact same thing. They spend ATP molecules as their molecular currency to perform immediate physical and chemical work, like contracting your muscles so you can run or moving materials around inside the cell.
So the obvious question is, how do we keep those cellular wallets full? Well, that is where catabolic pathways come back into the picture. When you consume foods like the sugars and fats stored from your breakfast, your cells use catabolic pathways to break them down. This degradation process releases the stored molecular energy and fills your cell's ATP wallet right back up, so you have currency to spend throughout the day. And here's a quick mini example of just how insanely efficient your body is at doing this. Remember how building a glucose molecule costs 54 ATP equivalents? Well, breaking down just one single glucose molecule through catabolic pathways yields a massive 36 to 38 molecules of ATP. Your cells are absolute masters at efficiently harvesting stored energy. Now, you might be asking yourself, and honestly this is a super common question, wait a second, why don't these metabolic reactions just happen spontaneously on their own? If the energy is already sitting right there, why doesn't the sugar just break itself down?
The short answer? Chemical reactions in a metabolic pathway do not take place spontaneously. They need a mediator. Enter the enzyme. An enzyme is a specialized protein that facilitates, or catalyzes, each individual step of a biochemical reaction. Whether a pathway is anabolic and requires energy, or catabolic and releases energy, enzymes are absolutely critical to make it happen. Without them, the whole cellular factory just shuts down.
To really grasp the grand scale of this whole system, we need to rewind, back about 3.8 billion years. Early life forms evolved using anaerobic metabolism, which just means metabolism without oxygen, to obtain energy in what was a very harsh environment. Over billions of years, evidence shows these pathways diverged, adding those specialized enzymes we just talked about to help organisms adapt. But here is the truly incredible part. Today, despite all our evolutionary differences, all branches of life share these exact same core metabolic pathways, from tiny bacteria to hummingbirds to humans. Before we wrap up, let's just quickly summarize the core loop we've covered today. The grand cycle of bioenergetics starts with the sun. That solar energy is captured by plants to synthesize glucose. That's our building anabolic process. Then organisms consume those sugars and break them down, a degrading catabolic process. And finally, that breakdown harvests ATP, the cellular currency that literally powers every move we make and every thought we have.
Which brings us to a final, pretty profound thought. Since all life on Earth shares these exact same ancient energy pathways, what could studying the metabolism of Earth's absolute oldest, most extreme organisms teach us about our own human survival, our health, and our future? It's a fascinating mystery, and it's exactly what we'll be exploring in our next explainer. Make sure to join us as we continue to decode the incredible